Return, we will be talking to John Basang, who is going to tell us about 3 members of the Negro Leagues, the Darby Hilldales, who will be going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he started a campaign 5 years ago to make everybody aware of the Hilldale Giants, the Darby Daisies, and we'll talk to John Basang about that.
You guys are just like Supercuts, right?
How about a nice...
You're watching Singular Daily News Live. John Smallwood is here. Stan Hochman is here. We're talking now to John Basang, who I guess 5 years ago or so started an effort to get some of the Darby Hilldales inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame. And you succeeded, as 3 of the members are going in posthumously, correct?
Yes.
This summer.
30th.
We welcome John Basang, who is also a home brewer. We're going to see some of that coming up a little bit later on. I don't know if we'll be sampling.
No.
No, we won't. But tell us, because Stan, you wrote back, I guess in October, a nice piece on the whole thing.
I latched on to the bandwagon a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact. And John, why don't you share with the viewers how this whole idea of a marker for the Hilldale team came about? I think you went to visit the Negro League Museum in Kansas City.
Yes. Well, in 1999, I went to Kansas City. I travel a lot for work. And I went down there, and they had the Negro League Museum. So I went in, I saw it. And as I was walking around, they were honoring the Kansas City Monarchs. And it was the 75th anniversary of them Monarchs winning the first Negro League World Series. So I started talking to the one gentleman, and I said, "Oh, I'm from Darby. That's where Hilldale played." Immediately, because he has somebody come out and start talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you're from Darby. Is the field still there? This, that, and the other thing. Next week we're having a parade. We have your monument going up." And I'm like, "Well, if they won in 1925, Hilldale, we should have a marker going too." So what I tried to do is I wrote all the radio stations, TV stations, didn't hear anything. This time, about a year ago, I started writing efforts again, trying to get the 80th anniversary commemorated, and trying to get a push for the historic
80th
marker.
anniversary of the championship, 1925?
1925 championship.
In which they beat the Kansas City Monarchs.
Yes, exactly. And with that, some articles were written, and more people started to hear about it. I did an application to get a historic marker, which was approved on St. Patty's Day. For an Irishman like me, that was a great thing.
And it will go at 9th and Cedar, which is where their field was?
What we're going to do is we're going to put it at McDade and Cedar, which is where left field would be.
McDade and Cedar.
Yes.
Okay.
And mainly because the state thought it'd be higher visibility. It's on a state highway, but it's right where left field would be.
That's not one of those blue historical markers that you see on a signpost. That's fantastic. That's congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's really nice that you have taken this kind of an effort. I want to show the folks at home a kind of little biography of the Darby Hilldale. There are 2 names really: Hilldale Giants and the Darby Daisies. What was that?
They were never the Hilldale Giants.
They weren't.
The Hilldale Giants were a team that played in California Winter League. There was a combination of the Darby Hilldales and the Philadelphia Royal Giants. And with this, they went out and they played, and there was a famous picture of Biz Mackey with Hilldale Giants on it, hence the name caught on. Oh,
I see. Darby Hilldale existed 1910 to 1932, correct?
Correct.
And then the Depression came, and the Negro Leagues and the Hilldales fell upon tough times.
The Negro Leagues fell upon the tough times. The Hilldales ended up folded, but then right after that, the owner of the team, Ed Bolden, worked with Eddie Gottlieb and started the Philadelphia Stars.
Look at the player winning share there, $69 per player for the Hilldales. In 1925, they won the Negro League World Series. They avenged the previous year's loss to the Monarchs. They lost to Kansas City in 1924. 1925, they came back. 1924, they lost it in 9 games, I think. 1925,
yes.
Did they win it in 9?
They won it in 5.
They won it in 5 because it was best of 9.
Yes.
Back in those days. Biz Mackey hit .360 with a home run, 3 runs batted in the 1925 Negro League World Series. And Biz Mackey, they also call him the father of Japanese baseball.
Yes.
And you have proof.
Yes, well...
Put that right up here, in fact, on top of it. Yeah.
That's a famous picture that was taken of Biz Mackey, a Japanese baseball player. In 1927, a team called the Philadelphia Royal Giants went to Japan, and it was consisted of Negro Leaguers up and down the East Coast. Biz Mackey was the first person to hit a home run in Japan. He hit a ball over Yingo Stadium. And there's been stories written about him. There's actually a book that was written about him. This is a book on Japanese baseball, and he's one of the stars in the book. Actually, when we first started this whole campaign, the gentleman who wrote the book saw Stan's article on the internet and contacted me. Next thing I know, I'm getting a book in Japanese, autographed by the guy, so I can't read it. And he's like, well, but you have it, you know, you could show people. So
I wound up corresponding with this baseball historian in Japan who really, when he interviewed people who played against that traveling team, you know, credits Biz Mackey with inspiring them to, at that point, baseball in Japan was not big time. It was just in its infancy. And they were inspired by the visit of this team, A, because they didn't rub it in. They kept the games close.
Right.
And so...
Unlike the American, the white American players, correct?
Well, there was a famous picture of Babe Ruth in 1932 when the white players went over, and Babe Ruth is basically his arms posted on one of the Japanese players' heads. They were all insulting, like, "Hey, don't worry, little guy." It's been documented that they almost tore down the barriers of baseball, and professional baseball took a back step. In '33. The Royal American Giants went back and started the ball rolling again.
What did the Negro League ball players go through around here? They played, the Hilldales played at Hilldale Park, correct?
Yes, Hilldale Park, yes.
9th and Cedar, and it was on the border of Darby and Yeadon,
yes.
correct?
Yes, the grandstands were in Darby, the rest of the field.
And also, this was a team that was not obviously had Negro League players, but was managed and run by
yes. It was one of the first
African Americans.
One of the first teams that were incorporated. It was all owned. It was all black owners. The man who was head of the incorporation was Ed Bolden. He also started the Eastern Color League up on May Street in Darby, and that basically gave all the teams on the East Coast a set schedule and a crown to fight for. And then they went and they played the National Negro League, which was run out by Chicago. And when they played the National Negro League, that's when they came up with the World Series.
Ed Bolden was a postal worker.
He was a postal worker.
He was not one of these wealthy numbers guys in some of the other cities. That's who bankrolled the team, guys who were in the rackets, so to speak.
And he was a regular guy like everybody.
So how did he attract all these future Hall of Famers to a team in Darby?
Well, what he did is basically he had a code of conduct. The players felt a little bit more comfortable coming to a team that was owned by all blacks. It was an all-black community, right? And they weren't playing for a white owner who they thought they were exploiting them. But what he did is, because the contracts in Negro League weren't binding, okay? And the reason why it was like that is went to the white courts, like, it's just a rinky-dink league. And he would steal players. And he got a lot of players to come over to play for him, and he paid them a good wage. They got a part of the concessions, which was an all-black run concessions. So everybody got a piece of the game.
We got an email here coming in from Jack in Oak Lynn. What's at 9th and Cedar now?
At 9th and Cedar, corner 9th and Cedar is the CVS. And there's also, they call it the former Acme lot. There was an Acme that was there, now it's a furniture store. But where third base stood is Sovereign Bank, who's actually one of the people who helped donate for our sign.
Oh, that's nice. I also want to mention the campaign that you were on resulted in 3 guys being inducted into the Hall of Fame, 3 former Hilldales, and the 3 players at the bottom, Raleigh, Biz Mackey, Louis Santop, and Ben Taylor. And we look at some of the former Darby Hilldale players in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Of course, the top of the list, you got Judy Johnson, who was Mr. Hilldale, Oscar Charleston, John Henry Pop Lloyd, Martin DeHigo, Joe Williams, and then the 3 that will go in this summer, Biz Mackey, Louis Santop, Ben Taylor. Ben Taylor was one of 4 baseball brothers, right? And played for the Chicago American Giants and Indianapolis ABCs. He was all over the Negro Leagues. And then Louis Santop, this guy was 6'4", 240, left-handed hitting catcher.
He was the catcher when Mackey joined the team, so they found other positions for Mackey to play until Santop was finished, and Mackey played shortstop. Now, I don't know how many catchers can also play shortstop.
Yeah, and they call Louis Santop the Black Babe Ruth. He could hit a ball, and there's probably still a few flying around the neighborhood.
Finally, I can't let you go without. I said you were a home brewer, and so John Basang here.
How long have you been doing this?
John is a systems analyst by trade, but his love is beer.
Yes,
that's right.
which is what I do
He
best.
hasn't had any
I have
today.
a beer. Every year I brew a beer for the Super Bowl, and I call it themed. This one was called the Bumbling Birds, and it basically has all the excuses that Andy Reid put out throughout the year. And then I have another beer that I brewed. I've been trying to get one of the local breweries to brew it and help us get recognition and money. It's called Hilldale Heffen.
Hey, hand me that over here, please.
Yes.
The Hilldale Heffen. Let's just crack that right there. It's called the Hilldale. What's that?
Heffen.
Heffen?
Yeah, it's a German wheat beer.
German wheat beer. Okay.
And this is a stout, very bitter.
There it is. The Hilldale. It's got.
Light of the Eagles.
Yes. Yeah. There's a pot.
That's some.
Wait, and then the Bumbling Bird. That's nice. And it says excuses 2005. T.O. Wine, Burgess left, Donovan hurt, Douglas retired. Things didn't hurt. What else do you have? Anything
That's
else?
all I got. No,
That's it.
It's the same stuff.
Okay. At a beer distributor near you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I designed the labels myself.
That's fantastic.
Basically, I wait to get the kids to bed before my wife starts saying, "You're playing with the beer again."
And do you like the taste of your beer?
I wouldn't brew it if I didn't like it.
Yeah, so you drink your beer over any other brand?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. If you didn't drink your beer, what beer would you drink?
Victory Hop Devil.
Victory Hop
So
Devil.
Bill and Glenn are out there. Send a case to my house.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. You know what? Hey, after that sounded like Freddie Bibbo laughing a little bit. Freddie Bibbo, you and Freddie are tight, right?
Oh, Freddie and I were buddies for years.
From way back. Okay. So
Triple K.
there's Freddie right now. So wait, after Victory, whatever
Victory Hop Devil.
Yeah. What's the next one after
I would
that?
go for Yingling Lager.
Okay. I just want to make. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
One of the sponsors, right?
Pennsylvania. No. I just wanted to get down the list.
Of the marker with a parade and
what
speeches.
As of right now, the marker, we're going to have a parade on October 14th. We're giving the victory parade they never got, and the first championship parade in Philadelphia since 1985.
How many of their relatives, descendants will be there? How many are left?
We're digging. Basically, we have some descendants of John Drew, who was the second owner of the team. We have descendants of Lloyd Thompson, who was one of the owners of the team. Trying to find the players, we're working into the fourth generation right now, and it's really hard. Biz Mackey, who we're trying to get hold of somebody, him and his wife didn't have any children, so and we can't find anyone else that's related.
I should also ask real quick: were these guys Philadelphia guys, born and bred? Like Judy Johnson was from Delaware, for example. I know that.
But Biz Mackey was from the South.
He was from Texas, and Louis Santot was from Texas.
Got it.
Yeah, they came up to the East because that's where the money was.
All right. Thanks for the beer.
No, you're very
Great
welcome.
to see you, John Basang. And we appreciate it. Stan, thanks for being here. You can have one.
No, that's
you
all
want
right.
Smalls, you want one?
Sure.
Okay. Smalls never met a free beer he could drink. Oh, you got more.
I got a six-pack.
Oh, you got a six-pack.
It's all the
that's
same
good.
stuff.
We're going to take a break. We'll crack open a couple of these brews, and then Mike Kern will join us. And no, easy now. And Adam Kaplan will be here from Sirius Satellite Radio. He's serious about the NFL draft. We'll talk to A-Cap in a moment.